Hey everyone, my name is Amanda and I'm the Fun Size Reader, and it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I kind of just felt like doing it today. So here's a reading vlog for you. This week was a really busy reading week for me, really busy. So I ended February finishing House of Earth and Blood and just being I don't know what I'm gonna do with my reading life. And this masterpiece, man. And I keep saying House of Earth and Blood, I mean House of Sky and Breath. You guys know what I mean. So I finished it and I knew I was gonna have a huge book hangover from it. So I was like, I need to read something that is just gonna grab me, that I'm gonna be emotional about, is gonna make me not forget about Sky and Breath, but get me out of the hole that my emotions dug themselves into. I figured that Zodiac would be the best book to do that, because I was I'm emotional about these characters already and I know I'm just gonna enjoy it. Even if it rips my heart out, I know I'm gonna enjoy it. So coming out of Sky and Breath and then coming into Zodiac, I was like, damn, I'm reading a lot of fantasy smut. A lot of fantasy smut. Oh my God. This book was real spicy and I was not anticipating that. I was also not expecting to be in another huge book haul after finishing this. And so I was like, okay, book haul 1 with tons of fairy smut, there. Then book haul 2 with more fairy smut, there. And so I was like, okay, I need to now pick something that is a fast read that will keep this momentum going, because I read both of those really, really quickly. For their size. I mean, quickly is relative, but I was like, I gotta read something else that's fast. And for me, coming out of 2 big fantasy series, I'm like, okay, it's gotta be real life. I need contemporary, I need something in the real world. So I picked more smut. One of my friends told me oh, you wanna read some hockey smut? Pick the deal. So I had this sitting on my shelf and I was like, it's time. And it was perfect. I read it in 24 hours. It was the right book to be chosen at that point. But my smut didn't stop there. So not only did I read Smut 1, Smut 2, I then got to Smut 3, which wasn't as smutty as I was anticipating it to be. I was anticipating more from Tessa. I've read some smutty Tessa. And this one was not as smutty as I thought. So it was still a lot. This was a jam-packed week, but they were all good. I really enjoyed reading them all. And so I was like, okay, I need something else. Need to break my little cycle here. So I went to Barnes & Noble and I got the Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. And this one had been confusing me for a while. So I was trying to figure out why so many people had read it, but I couldn't get it anywhere. And I realized that I'm pretty sure she self-published this before it was released as a hardcover by Tor Books. And so I was like, I really wanted it. So many people have been like, read it, read it, read it. It's so good, it's so good. And I couldn't find it anywhere. So now that it's finally published, I can finally read it. But I will say, I'm not very far in this at all, because it is a thinking book. It is one that I really have to pay attention to while I'm reading. And that's not something that I can read super late at night, because I'm too tired to focus. I need something that's just light and fluffy. And so I was like, okay, I'll read this one during the day. And it's kind of pre-portioned into sections. So I was trying to read a section a day and I have not been successful at that, but I do like what I've read so far. I feel like I'm still in the story build-up part of it, but I just have heard so many fantasy readers loving it that I'm I have to get there. Picking a different book to read at nighttime has been hard, because I picked The Roughest Draft because I love these authors. Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca are 2 of my favorites. I love their YA books. I've read them all, well, almost all of them. The new one's coming out soon, and one of them I have not read yet, but I've read almost all of their books, and I love them. They're so good. And so I started reading this one, and I'm struggling a little bit. I'm struggling. Like, it's not rom-com like I thought it was going to be. It's more romance, but I'm kind of bored a little bit. And I hate saying that because I really love their books, but like, I'm only 50 pages in and I keep falling asleep reading it versus this one that I legit read in 24 hours. So I know it's not like, I'm just not in the right state of mind because I read this in 24 hours and I read this in like 36. So there's something about it that is just, I don't get that oomph. And I'm hoping I will get to a point where I want to just breeze through it, but struggling. There's a lot of books this week, but lots and lots of smutty ones. In tons of other news, so I don't know, I know a lot of you are fantasy readers, and I don't know how many of you are like deep into adult fantasy. I know there's lots of YA fantasy readers, but like adult fantasy. I have only read one of his books, I will say that, but I was very, very intrigued when I saw Brandon Sanderson's video. I don't know if any of you saw it. Earlier this week, it was basically a picture of him on his Instagram channel, and it says like, I need to come clean. And I was like, about what, Brandon? About what? My first reaction was, oh my God, is he gonna tell us that he like plagiarized or he like took ideas from somewhere there, it's not him, right? Like, what is he gonna tell us? Because the look on his face during, like, in this picture, I was like, ooh, this is big. So there's been plenty of time and so much talk about this that I'm not like ruining it by saying it, but if you don't want to know, like, skip till the next section. But he basically put out this video where he says that he needed to come clean about something. And as you watch the video, he says he was really stressed over COVID and the pandemic, and he had a lot of like time that he had to reorganize different from his normal lifestyle. And because of that, he wrote a book completely unknown to everybody. His publisher didn't know. He wrote it for his wife. His wife loved it so much, she said that she needed to publish it, or he needed to publish it. And so he did-ish, but then he had more to confess. And the more to confess was that he wrote 5 books in 2 years. Now, I don't know if you've seen Brandon Sanderson books. I have not. I don't have like the big series, his big books. I haven't read them, but like this is Brandon Sanderson, okay? This is like adult fantasy, chunky, 630 page book, okay? Then he has a YA series, Skyward, that's the one that I have read. And it's giant, like it's huge. And the 5 books that he wrote they're not continuations of his already going series. Like, they're completely different. They're totally separate. Some are spin-offs, some are characters that we already know, whatever. But like, not his normal progress. 5 additional books. Is there any more of a way that I can feel inadequate in my life? Like, really, Brandon? Really? Like, I struggle sometimes getting the dishes done, and he's out here writing 5 freaking books. So I'm like, it was amazing. And so to get the books, you had to support his Kickstarter campaign for them because he's not going to publish them outside. He like dropped them on the desk of his editor with a big thing that said top secret on top. They had no idea that he had written them. And so his idea was to put this Kickstarter campaign together, and by the time on, I think it was Monday morning, it was the 1st, it was March 1st. By the time that I logged on and watched the video, he had $5 million raised on Kickstarter. And I watched it earlier in the morning. It was like before noon in Pacific time. And so I was like, oh my God, so much money. And so my husband and I had been watching it all day long because we've used Kickstarter before for other projects and things like that. And so it's always fun to watch. And he just beat the record of all-time biggest Kickstarter. He's raised over $21 million for his books, and he has the whole rest of the month to go. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can get the books. Like, he has an ebook option, audiobook option, hardcovers only, all of the formats, which is the one that I did. I did all the formats because I never know if I'm going to be able to hold a big book. And then he has a subscription box option. So like, there's a bunch of different things that you could do to be able to get your hands on them, which was super, super creative. I just think like this whole thing that he did was genius. It was genius, and he deserves it because wow, I was shocked. I was like, I want to be this man. I want to be this man. So it was so cool. It was like a big book community publishing thing. And I was really excited to like kind of be a part of it, AKA be there for it and watch it happen. It was really cool. The other things that I saw that I wanted to bring up was I had a previous video about most anticipated reads of 2022, and one book that I completely just like over my head, didn't even put it on that video. I don't know why I didn't put it on that video. The first one was one of my top 5 and top 10, I think, of 2021, which was Defy the Night by Brigid Kemerer. She just released the cover for her second book, which is coming out, I think, in September of this year. And I was like, okay, I need to put that on my list now. Like, why wasn't it to begin with? So this is the beautiful cover. Bloomsbury just posted about it, and Brigid posted about it, and I think it's gorgeous, and I'm excited to see what happens. I don't know if this is going to be just a duology or if there's going to be more than that, but she also has another book coming, Forged in Fire and Stars, I believe is the title, and it's a spin-off in the same world as her Vow series, but not the same characters, totally different characters. So it was cool to see a cover reveal for a book that I now need to add to my list. As a lot of you may know, like, I'm also on BookTok, and I'm not very good at BookTok. I will be completely honest with you. I'm not very good at it. I'm not super creative like some of these BookTokers are. I watch the videos. I think they're hilarious. I love them, but coming up with them on my own is not as easy. And I don't just like doing the same thing that other people have done. I'm not calling anybody out who has done that, but like, I don't personally like doing that. And so I try to come up with my own ideas, and it's really hard. But there is one woman on TikTok, and I freaking love her. I get so excited every time I hear the sound that she picks for the beginning of her series of videos that she does. And her name is Stace Bookspace, and she has a series where she tries to turn her husband into a fictional man, and my husband and I watch them and we laugh hysterically at them. And every time I hear that, I know she's coming. One of them I saw recently, I was dying. It was like, every time I say goodbye, you need to tip my chin up, look longingly into my eyes, and, you know, say something nice or whatever it was. And he like banters back with her, and it's so funny, like looking at us trying to convince real people that things that we love in romances are just ridiculous. But she's hysterical. So I was really excited to see, like, I was going through her BookTok channel, and I was super excited to see that she wrote a book. And it, I believe, was picked up by a publisher and is coming out at in fall, I think. It's called Ledge. She has a video on her TikTok describing what it's about. But it's a fantasy with an enemies to lover romance. And I think she says a couple other tropes that are in there. I think it's gonna be good. I put it on my Goodreads. You should add it to your Goodreads. Hopefully I like it. I mean, I love her, so I don't know why I wouldn't, but I'm excited for that book to come out too. Okay, so this was my vlog, guys. I hope you liked it. I mean, I had so many things in the book world that happened this week that I just was like, my husband's tired of hearing about it, so I figured I'd talk to you. So yeah, maybe I'll do more of these. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I liked it though, just being able to talk out my thoughts. It's kind of fun. To somebody other than my husband who listens but just doesn't feel it on the same level as me, you know? So let me know what happened in your book week in the comments. Tell me one good thing or one thing you're excited about or whatever you feel like talking about in books this week. Don't forget, you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at The Fun Size Reader. See you guys next time.